Yeah, that's true. I will get every now and then I'll get an "I miss you." That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
My son goes to UK and he's a junior, but he is autistic and he really loves like flying and all things to do with flight. So he always wants to talk about airplanes and air shows and
Ah.
what kind of airplane I would buy if I had $1 million, just the whole
Oh,
kind
cool.
of thing. And every once in a while he'll give me a hug, that's
Yeah.
few and far between.
Yeah.
You you do you remember, and there's a documentary on Netflix on it about when Pepsi had the giveaway and they were doing the Harrier jet. They said you could get a Harrier jet for 1.5 million Pepsi points or whatever. And this
Uh-uh.
kid got a guy to help him out, and they actually ended up with 1.5 million Pepsi points, and Pepsi wouldn't give him the Harrier jet, and they sued him.
Oh,
Oh wow. No,
really?
I never heard that. But that Sam would totally sue them if that happened for sure. He's obsessed. It's kind of funny. How long ago was that? That's pretty awesome.
I think that was in the 90s, I want to say. And the
Oh, okay.
documentary just went on Netflix. I think it was like a year or two ago.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look it up now.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good documentary, and it's about this guy, and he knew this guy that was just kind of a looked like an old beatnik, but he was like rich beyond means apparently, and this guy helped him out and helped him get to the number, and then he ended up making a lot of money on it, and I think, as I recall, it's been a while since I saw the documentary, but it seems like he set up some sort of a nonprofit, I think, with the money that he made. It's pretty neat
Oh,
story.
Hmm,
well,
very
that's
cool.
cool. I guess he made a good thing out of it,
Yeah.
out of all the
Okay, yeah,
controversy.
got to mute.
Yeah,
We're getting
we're
started.
muted. Okay.
See you guys.
Bye.
Welcome, everybody. October 3rd, first meeting of October. We're going to do our inspiration, pledge, and four-way test. Mr. David Jones.
Please join me in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now before we pledge,
Which declare all concerned, will it build goodwill and better friendships, will it be beneficial to all concerned.
thank you. Please be seated. Thank you for your attention. This is the inspirational moment for the week. Service above self, as you know, is the official motto of Rotary International. As Rotarians, we call upon ourselves to help other people in our community and in the world. But there are so many people out there who need help in so many ways. And despite our best efforts, there will always be more people who need more help. This can be discouraging to the point that you might think, we cannot help everybody. We cannot win. When this happens, I ask you to consider an old story. You've probably heard it before, but it's worth repeating. And here it goes. A young girl was walking along a beach where a storm had washed up thousands of starfish onto the sand. When she came upon one of the starfish, she would toss it back into the ocean so that it wouldn't die. This went on for a while, and people began to watch her. Soon a man came up and said, "Little girl, there are so many starfish, you can't save them all. You can't begin to make a difference." And for a moment, the girl seems crushed. Maybe the man was right. But then she picked up another starfish and hurled it back into the water. And she turned to the man and said, well, I made a difference for that one. With that, the man and the other people on the beach joined the little girl, and together they threw all the starfish back into the sea. There are several lessons in this. Among them is sometimes looking at the big picture is the wrong thing to do. And it's often just one person doing small things that gets the job done. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Introduction of guests. Jim Martin, past president, come on up.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, we have a good group of guests of Rotarians today. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna call your name, stand up so we can see you. And then we're gonna hold our thunderous applause until all of you have been introduced, okay? Okay, first we have a guest of Sharon Reed, Frank Pothorst. And Sharon also has her husband Jim Reed with us today. Thank you. A guest of Gary McCormick is Patrick Houston in the back. A guest of Amanda Ferguson, Betsy Rutherford over here. Susie Basham has brought Casey McKeenan today. And the Reverend Dave Blondell has his son, David Brian Blondell. And finally, guest of the club, Meg Haste. Okay, let's join me in a warm welcome. We do have one visiting Rotarian, so let's give them the Rotary welcome if we can. From Lake Norman, North Carolina, Sean Barkley. Hi, Sean.
Thank you very much, Jim. The lottery, Tom Lester. Hey, let's give a big round of applause for Tom coming back to Rotary. Tom, great to see you. All right, we are looking for the Queen of Spades. I've got the two numbers. First number is 4943. 4943. What's our total dollar, Tom? 460. All right, Win, come on down. As Win comes down, look, 5007. 5007. Jamie. Queen of Spades. No, close but no cigar. Thank you for playing. Good luck, Jamie. Thank you. Trust but verify. Yes. Queen of Spades. Hey, we got a winner. Hey, how about that? Thank you for playing. Yeah, all right. Way to go. Congratulations, Jamie. Winner, winner. And celebrating birthdays today. At the end of this, I'd like to sing the last verse of Happy Birthday to You. All right, so we've got 3 birthdays today. Is Chris Henry here? Wanda Bertram, are you here? Maybe you're on Zoom. And then Jeff Picaro, are you here? Happy birthday on 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. We've got another awesome wheel horse out with the 5th page on there and our Living Legend series featuring Garland Barr. It's a great read, and the work that goes into the wheel horse is amazing. There are a few sponsorship availabilities. Please help us out and promote your organization. Step right up. Speaking of sponsorship, boy, we're on a roll. Marcus Cross just agreed to sponsor the website. That's huge. Thank you, Marcus. We have a lunch sponsor, Chris Anderson and American Trust Wealth. Thank you so much, Chris Anderson. And remember, we have the roster sponsor with DG Gridley. Thank you, DG. We are crushing it. And, you know, sponsorships matter, fundraisers matter, but the number one lever in our organization is membership. I'd like to have Bridget come up. Membership is the number one lever in our organization. It is the most important thing, and we've got a challenge for you. Bridget? Hey, come on.
All right, the call to the post, Rotarians, and the call to the post is for a membership drive. So from the start of Keeneland to the close of Keeneland, about 4 weeks, October 3rd to October 31st, the winner's circle on the 5th Thursday at Lost Palm. We hope to celebrate 10 new members, 10 new Rotarians as part of our fall membership drive. At a midpoint in October, on October 16th, we're going to have a social for prospective new members out at Broke Spoke Bike Shop, which if you've not been to Broke Spoke, it will be an experience in and of itself. It's a volunteer bike repair shop. So we are trying to pair in the fall our cycling focus, and you might recall Cycling to Serve raises money for polio. On October 17th at Cycle U, we will be raising money for polio. So we're pairing cycling with horse racing for the fall membership sprint. So mark your calendar, October 16th, Broke Spoke, the time 5 to 6:30 for prospective new members. We'll have some special guest speakers. And between now and then, and from then until October 31st, we're challenging each of you to sit down and think about 10 folks that you think would appreciate being part of Rotary and who would bring something to our Rotary work, and bring them with you over the next few weeks and encourage them to become members. The goal for the membership committee is to be at 300 members for Lexington Rotary by the Large Club Conference in 2026. So let's start it off strong with this call to the post and a strong winner's circle on October 31st. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. Just from a show of hands, who believes membership is one of our most important levers for Rotary? Keep your hands up if you think it's important. Hold on, I'm going to take a picture for everyone. All right, now raise your hand if you're committed to bringing in a new member. Raise your hand. Keep your hand down if you don't want to grow the club. Raise your hand if you're committed to bringing in a member. Thank you. It is documented. Membership drive is officially kicked off. Thank you, Bridget and the membership committee. Let's see here. Keeneland tickets. Boy, Susan, you're doing an amazing job with social. They're selling fast. Talk to Susan Adams if you would like to attend the Keeneland outing. And then last but not least, we have a surprise. Matthew, I believe you have a book. You've got a new book coming out this fall and in November, but this is your latest book and what we're going to talk about today. And I believe you're going to sign that book. Yes. And that book is going to be available to anybody who has under their plate a Rotary sticker. So if you look under your plate, don't drop your food, don't drop your silverware. But if you have a Rotary sticker under your plate, you may need to look. I need someone to it because it's out there in population. If look underneath your plate. Do we have one? It's under the. Oh, they took the plates. All right. I've got a new one. Let's see. All right, no, how about this? The first one to raise their hand with do they know how many children Matthew Mitchell has? Raise your hand. 3. Is that correct? That's correct. Hey, we've got a winner. Congratulations, Eric Brooks. Speaking of Eric Brooks, please silence your cell phones. He is looking for his very first victim and finder, and he is on duty. And without further ado, we'd like to introduce our speaker, and here to do that, past president Kevin Weaver.
Right, it's my pleasure to introduce Matthew today. Doesn't need much of an introduction. He's one of this club's favorite speakers every year. And you all know about his career up until maybe more recently, and we're going to learn more about what he's doing now. But something that you should know about Matthew, you hear the thing saying that somebody's a jack of all trades, but master of none. Well, Matthew's one of those few guys who's kind of a master of all trades. Everything he does remarkably well. So, most importantly, family. He has 3 daughters who are just very confident and smart and courageous and beautiful, and they're just a great family. He and his wife Jenna are a true team in everything they do. They really are. From his coaching days to his new endeavors, to the way they serve the community. And speaking of the community, the Mitchell Family Foundation is one of the best community benefactors that we have in Lexington. They support so many things, including the park that we're involved in right down the street. And Matthew now is into teaching others how to build their team and coaching people on how to be leaders. And you know he's going to be good at that. And you've all seen him dance, so you know he can dance. And he can also sing. I saw a picture on Facebook the other day where Shaquille O'Neal was holding his band cap. So he's got fans everywhere. But I want y'all to join me in welcoming Matthew back. And thank you, Matthew.
Hello, Rotary. It is great to be back. It's my return after a 5-year absence. We'll let you judge whether it's a triumphant return or not, and we'll see how it goes. But I am happy to be with you. I want to take you back to 2007. 2007 was a tumultuous year in Kentucky, University of Kentucky basketball. Tubby Smith departed for Minnesota, and we were getting after Billy Donovan. I don't know if you remember this or not, but we were trying to hire Billy Donovan to be the men's coach. And that went on for 3 weeks, and a lot of fatigue set in on the administration. And all of a sudden, Billy Donovan doesn't come, so we hired Billy Gillespie. And 4 days after Billy Gillespie is hired, Mickey DeMoss walks into Mr. Barnhart's office and said, "I'm leaving." So now he's got to hire a women's basketball coach. And he was so fatigued and had so little energy that he settled and hired me. He just didn't bother to look for anybody else. He just hired me. He couldn't really find anybody else. And he said, "Well, Matthew probably won't steal anything, so we'll just hire him." I mean, this is no big deal. So let's fast forward to that fall. And the men's basketball coach had addressed the club. I think it was 60 straight years or something. It was some ridiculous streak of the men's basketball coach speaking to the Rotary Club, going back to Coach Rupp's days, and it continued on through several coaches. Well, my good friend Billy Gillespie, who had an interesting time here, but he was very good to me, but he made some interesting decisions. One of the decisions was, I'm not speaking to the Rotary Club. They said, "Coach, you must speak to the Rotary Club. It's a 63-year streak, whatever it was." Said, "I'm not doing it." So, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Do you have anybody else over there that could maybe come speak to the Rotary Club? And they said, "Well, we don't have much left, but I guess we can send Matthew out there. We can send Coach Mitchell out." So in 2007, I reported for duty, my first appearance at the Rotary Club. We were at the Spindletop Club Was anybody there that day at the Spindletop Club? We were there in the fall of 2007. And I had the big job of filling the shoes of this incredible streak that has now broken. And now I'm supposed to be the replacement. And I want to tell you, I didn't have much that day. I had not coached a game yet at Kentucky, and I didn't have much of a track record. 2 years at Morehead State, 30 and 29, nothing that would really wow anyone. I'm thinking, what am I going to tell these people that have high expectations? And I want to take you back to what I settled on that day, and I'm gonna tell the story that I told in 2007. I started my high school coaching career in a little town in Mississippi where I'm from, Lexington, Mississippi. Lexington, Mississippi was my first high school coaching job. And I had grand designs on being a great basketball coach. This is another connection to Kentucky. Pat Riley was my idol. I said, I wish I could be Magic Johnson, but I can't be Magic Johnson. But I can buy a suit and slick my hair back, and then that's all it's to coaching. And so that was my idol, was Pat Riley. So I thought I was gonna be a great basketball coach. Well, I found out as a high school teacher and coach, there's many hats you have to wear. And one hat that I ended up having to wear that I did not expect was defensive coordinator of the high school football team. We had a new coach come into town. I fancied myself as a basketball coach. His name was Billy Jack Caston. And he said, Coach Mitchell, I'm Billy Jack Caston. Have you ever heard a better football coach's name? Billy Jack. I mean, Mark Stoops, that's a good football coach name, but Billy Jack Caston, that's a great football coach's name. He says, Coach Mitchell, it's nice to meet you. I said, Coach, welcome. Nice to meet you. He said, you are my new defensive coordinator. I said, what? I said, I don't know anything about coaching defense. I'm not a football coach, I'm a basketball coach. I don't know about being a defensive coordinator. He said, well, that's your problem. You got to figure that out. Because I'm the offensive coordinator. I call the plays. I'm the head coach. You're a defensive coordinator. So I do a crash course. I go to a town over to one of my high school teammates that's a good football coach, and I learned how to be a defensive coordinator. Not a good one, but I learned how to do it. So I am totally immersed in learning to be a defensive coordinator. So we start the season in Lexington, Mississippi, Central Holmes Christian School. And it doesn't go well. We start 0-1, big blowout, a lot of points scored on the defense, not good. We lose the next game, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, 0-5, and now the people in Lexington, Mississippi and it's not like Lexington, Kentucky, but they thought that they're the center of the universe and their high school football team is the most important thing. So I learned early in my career, a lot of pressure around performance and coaching. So we keep working. Well, we win a game. So now we're 1-5. We didn't win another game. Then we win another. We're on a 3-game winning streak. Now you're taught in coaching never to look ahead, stay focused on the present. But I'm looking at the last 2 games of the year, and we've got the worst team of the year in the last game that I know we can beat. But the problem is in the next to last game, we have the best team of the year. And so I'm just thinking, if we could find some way to win this game and we win the 4th game of the year, we're going to win the 5th game of the year. What a story. 0-5 to 5-0. It's going to be a big success. So we work so hard. We're in Winona, Mississippi on a Friday night, and it's raining and it's a tough night. And we're going to try to beat Winona to go to 4-5. Kickoff, first kickoff. We kick off. We run down. We hit them. Fumble. Ball squirts out to about the 5-yard line. We recover. First offensive play, boom, touchdown. We're up 7-0. I'm like, this is a good start for us. This is really good. We kick off. Now, stay with me now. I don't want to lose credibility after this. This is true. We kick it off again. Another fumble down around the 10-yard line. One play, boom, we kick it in. We punch it in. Now we miss the extra point, 13-0. So this is unbelievable. So it's a tough night. It's going to be hard, slippery. They can't throw the ball that well. So we get to halftime. We're up 13-0. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. We've got an actual chance. I said, I can't wait to talk to Billy Jack. Where's Billy Jack? Well, Billy Jack is down in a puddle behind the sideline bench. And the pregame meal has not agreed with Billy Jack. He is sick as a dog. He's throwing up back there and he can't. We're trying to get him up and get him to the locker room at halftime. And I was like, Billy Jack, what do you? He said, I can't go. I can't make it. He said, you got to get us to the harbor here. You got to steer the ship into the harbor. You got to call the plays the second half. I said, Billy Jack, I don't know any of the plays. I barely know the defense. I don't know any of the plays. He said, that's your problem. You're going to have to figure this out. You got to get figured out. So I go out and I go to the second half. I get the backup quarterback, and somehow we piece together. We only allow one touchdown. It's 13-7, and now we're down to the last minute of the game. And if I can get one more first down, we're going to run the clock out and we're going to win the game. And let me tell you, it's a wet, rainy night. We don't want to have to punt. We want to get this first down because we had a problem. You're supposed to be 13 yards deep on the long snap. The punter is. Our long snapper could only get it about 9 yards, so we were about 4 yards short there. So that's a problem. So we didn't want to punt. All right, we did not want to punt. So we get to 3rd down and 6, and we're just not sure. I'm like, it's probably too long to run, but I really don't want to throw an incomplete pass and stop the clock. So what do? I don't know what to do. I'm a young coach. I'm in crisis right here. Well, my parents' greatest gift they ever gave me was faith in God. And so I did what my parents would have taught me to do. I went to the Lord in prayer. And I said, God, please give me a sign. Tell me what to do. Should I run? Should I pass? What should I do? Please, I just need something. And I only have 15 seconds to make this decision. So out of the crowd is a voice. And it's the voice of the biggest know-it-all, loudest mouth parent that would always stop by and say, you ought to do this, you ought to do that. And I would tell Billy Jack, I said, why do you let this guy come in here and talk to us? He said, oh, coach, don't worry. He's just talking. Sometimes he's got some good ideas. So sometimes you should listen to him. I'm like, if I really got to listen to Tim Nolan right here, God, this is the vessel you're sending the message through. I can't believe it. Because I just know he's going to go run the ball, or he's like, pass the ball, you dummy. I mean, I just know he's going to come with something. And I'm like, I can't believe it. God, you have saved me with Tim Nolan. So I wait. And he goes, hey, coach, don't call nothing stupid. So we run the ball. He didn't help out, but I decided we'll run the ball. We ran the ball, didn't make the first down. So now we got to get out there and snap it. I get a delay of game penalty because we didn't have a big clock like they have over at the Kroger Field. And I get a delay of game penalty, and we backed up even more. And so the long snapper dribbles it back to the punter. The punter gets the ball. They converge on him. And how, I don't know. I do believe it's divine intervention. There's 5 guys on our punter, and the ball shoots up out of there and gets about 30 yards downfield. They can't score. We win the game 13-7. And it was one of the greatest wins I've ever been a part of. But what I told the club that day, and I'll tell you again, that's what I learned, that the good Lord wanted me to work hard to learn to be a good coach, and I wasn't going to be able to just ask for help in these tense moments. And so I went on from Lexington, Mississippi, and I ended up here in Lexington, Kentucky. And it's just the most incredible thing that could have ever happened to me. And we, after that day, we spoke 13 consecutive years to the Rotary Club, and it was always one of my best days of the year. It's always great to be with you. And so it's been 5 years, and I hope I don't ever have another 5-year break from speaking to Rotary Club. So I'm glad to be with you today and to tell you what is happening in my world. And so since I stepped away from coaching, I've started to take everything that I learned in coaching and developing young people and a successful basketball program here at Kentucky. And we had a very, very good run over that 13 years. We were able to develop a system that allowed us to have sustained success. And that's what I'm really interested in teaching people. And so now I'm taking that to the business world, to the corporate world. And so now I go into any high aspirational, high achieving, where performance matters. And really in any of our businesses, performance does matter for us to get the job done and for us to reach our objectives, our goals, what we're trying to accomplish. And so that's what I'm doing now. And so I took let's see, where do I go here? Yeah. So this was how we built the basketball program. We called it the Winning Tools. My first head coaching opportunity at the Division I level was at Morehead State University, and I worked for 4 Hall of Fame coaches. I worked for Pat Summitt, I worked for Carol Ross, I worked for Carolyn Peck, and Mickey DeMoss. Those were the 4 women that I worked for that helped me develop, and they all had a system of how they wanted to operate. So I thought about this when I got the opportunity at Morehead State. I thought about, what do we want to lead with each and every day? How do we want to exist on the court and operate on the court? How do we want to exist off the court? How do we want to interact in our community and make impact there? And that's what those young people all have a chance to do and had a chance to do. And so this is what I developed there. And then over the last 20 years have been refining this, and we've built this into an operating system of leadership and teamwork. And it's called the Winning Tools. I thought it was so great to equip my players, my young people, with tools that they could go build their life. And so that's what I believe all of us are still doing right now, building our life. No matter what stage we're in, we have that opportunity to, whatever role we're playing in life, we have an opportunity to reach our potential, and our potential will then impact other people. And that's what I'm passionate about doing. So the Winning Tools are 3 guiding principles: honesty, hard work, and discipline. And the way that we teach that is we have 3 pillar points under each winning tool. And that's how we teach and have a curriculum on how we teach a team or an individual to lead and to succeed. And so the Winning Tools are what we're out teaching with our business, traveling around the country, working with all different types of industries. It's been so fascinating to do that, because no matter what a person's skill or competency is, it's so interesting how the human issues that we have of working together and being able to perform are so similar. No matter if I'm working, I met with a bank this morning, I met with a real estate company yesterday, I've worked with auto parts manufacturers, I've worked with a hotel. It's just so interesting. The notion of us working together so that the team can succeed, those issues are very, very common. And so that's what we go in and we try to strengthen. And I'm just having a blast doing it. I feel like it is what I'm placed on earth to do. And so one of the things that we did out of that was, the first book was called Winning Tools, and that came out last summer, and we had success with that. And so now I want to introduce you to one of those pillar points under hard work. The way we teach someone to bring their work ethic to the forefront and for it to realize into something substantive, one of those pillar points is preparation. And so my second book that's coming out soon is called Ready to Win: How Great Leaders Succeed Through Preparation. And so, like I tell people, everybody wants to win, but the question is, are you ready to win? And that's what we dive into this book. And so the first half of the book is really about how do we personally prepare to perform at our highest level. And then the next part of the book is how do we teach others? And so really proud of this book. And I think it can be very beneficial to a team and to any type of business. And so that's what we've been doing. So we're out now speaking. We do leadership workshops and train and coach. We coach teams, coach one-on-one, and then writing. And so that's what's coming up here. And so there's an opportunity there. You can go to our, that QR code will take you to readytowinbook.com, or you can go to coachmatthewmitchell.com and see what we're all doing, everything that we're doing, everything that we offer is on coachmatthewmitchell.com. Readytowinbook.com is where you can get plugged into the book. We have some interesting opportunities around some bulk packages where you can come in and buy 5, 25, 50 books, and we've got some good offerings there. And so if we could come into your business and assist you in any way in this book, whether you just read it yourself or get it with your team and discuss it, I think it's just really can unlock some productivity that your team can benefit from. So that's all on CoachMatthewMitchell.com, readytowinbook.com. And it's so interesting how the parallels of what it takes to succeed in athletics are able to translate into how we succeed in any type of organizational success we're looking for, whether it's a business, whether it's a nonprofit, whether it's just any organization that's trying to move people forward. There's so many lessons that we're able to teach that we learn through coaching athletics. So I am having a blast. Jenna and I are so fortunate that early in our career, we landed in a community that we could put roots in, because coaching in college sports can be so nomadic. You know, fans get real dissatisfied very quickly. Now, not Kentucky fans. We're very forgiving, and we don't get upset about anything, and we're behind the coach all the time. But other places are different. Other places are very impatient. And so for Jenna and I to be able to get into this community over 20 years ago and put roots down and raise a family. And people ask me when I stepped away from coaching Kentucky, are you staying, coach? Are you staying? And I'm like, why would you not? Why would you not stay in the greatest city that I could imagine for me? You know, it's what's the greatest city in the world? I don't know. I know the greatest city in the world for me is Lexington, Kentucky. And this community, being part of it, being in rooms like this, so service oriented. And it just lights me up, because that's what I love to do, is try to serve others, to move them forward. And that's exactly what you're doing with Rotary Club, and you always have. And I'm so honored and happy to be back with you after a 5-year absence. I hope it won't take 5 more years to come back, but I just have always appreciated this club. Now, at the end here, we've always had some time for Q&A. So we can definitely talk about leadership and business coaching, but as Kevin said, I'm fluent in other things. And we can break down where we are in the football season and what Coach Pope's going to do and Coach Brooks going to do and Coach Mingione. And so we can talk about Kentucky athletics. We can get in here and talk about whatever you want to talk about. I would be happy to answer any questions if you have any. But I also can sit down and shut up right now. So you decide. Any questions from anyone? Yes, sir.
Are you glad to be out of coaching with kind of all the turmoil and change going on with college athletics and all that?
Well, so it's such a great question, because one of the joys of my career at Kentucky were the relationships that Jen and I built with our players that truly became like family. And after all these years, they still include me on this group text chain that we're on, where we wish people happy birthdays, congratulations on a promotion, birth of a child, whatever it may be. My mom just passed peacefully, and we are just such a blessing from her life. But all these kids, what they wrote in about my mom just showed the depth of our relationship. And so it's a special group. So we get together whenever they come to town. We'll get together for dinner, and they'll say, you could never make it now, coach. You couldn't make it. The way you coached us, you couldn't make it in this environment. And I tell them, of course I could, because we have to adapt. We have to adapt, and we have to change, and we have to work within the world that we're living in. We have to face reality. And so reality is very different. I will tell you this. What I enjoyed was to see how a freshman walked in, and to work with her through 4 years and see her equipped and prepared, and the possibility of what she could become and the impact that we made. And so I really enjoyed that part of the coaching. And I would have to adjust and figure out how to meet that need with this revolving door type of atmosphere. But I just always want to remain hopeful and optimistic, and that I don't think kids change. I think the world changes, and we have to go meet them and develop them and help them. And so I'll tell you this, I think I was called out of that to do this. And so I don't miss, I'm real happy doing what I'm doing. And my basketball itch, I started in Lexington, Mississippi, and I was coaching junior high and high school. And now I'm back coaching junior high. I'm coaching my two younger daughters. And so I'm loving that part of coaching. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it's so it's been so much fun through the whole process to see where it started. Or, you know, to think about where it was when we played down there. And I'll tell you, we won like 52 straight games down there. We loved Memorial Coliseum, but it definitely was time for it to be refreshed. And what we've done down there is second to none. And all of us are going to just enjoy that facility. And they've done such a great job of honoring the history and all of our people who made the ultimate sacrifice. And that's what the arena was originally, you know, built for. And so I cannot compliment the administration enough, and the architects and the construction people. It is spectacular. All the way in the back. Well, I'll tell, okay, I got a little time. Okay, so that also was the summer of 2007. You talk about a crazy year for me. I was coaching with Billy Gillespie, and then I tried to meet Nick Saban. So remember, I was a defensive coordinator. Remember? All right. Just a couple of years before. And so when you're hired in the SEC, they have new coaches orientation. So it doesn't matter if you are Nick Saban, LSU head football coach, or you're Matthew Mitchell, University of Florida assistant women's basketball coach. You have to come to Birmingham and you had to learn what it was to be in the SEC and how to operate. So we're all there, you know, just milling around before it starts. And so one of the things that I did try to become a good defensive coordinator is I was just trying to absorb as much information. So Nick Saban had a linebackers tape out. Back in the old days of VHS, you'd order these coaching tapes, and they say, this is how you coach the linebackers, and this is the drill you do. And it was actually real helpful throughout my career. You didn't have to go anywhere. You could learn from another coach. So I said, there's old Nick Saban. I had his video. I'm going to go over here and tell him, you know, nice to meet him and appreciate the video and help me out a lot. I'm sure he'll be thrilled to meet me and, you know, get some positive feedback. So I go around, hey, coach, how you doing? Matthew Mitchell. I'm a assistant women's basketball coach in Florida. Well, knowing now what I didn't know then is I already lost him by Coach Saban. He didn't want anybody to talk to him. Hey, Coach Saban, Matthew Mitchell. So I stick out my hand to shake his hand. And he just looks at me and he just turns around. There's no door behind him ringing. He just turns around and walks. He just walks on. And I see him get over there talking to his sports information director. And he's like, don't let any more crazy people come up to me. And then years later, I saw it. I think he softened over the years so then we'd be with him in Destin. And I saw him one time, we'd have this cocktail party. And so all these fans are just hanging out wanting to see Nick Saban. I mean, it's a mob scene. And so they had this little private pathway. Well, two kids snuck in there, two little boys. And so they wanted his autograph, and he just walked by like he did not want to interact with them. And I was like, man, that's a hardcore dude right there. And he wouldn't sign those kids' thing. And about 30 seconds later, his conscience hit it. He came back and he signed the paper for him. So he has done so much in Tuscaloosa and made such an impact there. And he might have a little curmudgeon streak to him, but I think he is a remarkable coach. But what he and his wife, Terry, have done in Tuscaloosa for that community, he's got a big heart. Yes, ma'am. Well, I'll just quickly run over this. You know, I think it's just handled so poorly. It's called name, image, likeness. And how in the world we got to where we are now, if I live to be 200 years old, I'll just never know how smart people couldn't understand this simple thing I'm about to explain to you. So if your name, your image, your likeness is driving some type of economic activity. So if Matthew Mitchell has a number 11 jersey and it's Matthew Mitchell's on the back, and that's the only reason they're buying that jersey, then give them the money. That's no problem. Now, the problem is that if you take Kentucky off the front and you just put Matthew Mitchell on the jersey and we go down here on the corner, let's see how many people are going to buy that. So there's also the part that Kentucky should benefit because Kentucky's a platform. But if they're truly buying those jerseys, let's cut the kid in on that. That's fine. That is so rare. And so now what we did is we just took that and we made it pay for play. And I mean, I can say this now because I don't have any role, but that's what it is. And so, yes, it's affecting women's sports. And yet, and so now the money's chopped up so much that you have all of this angst and acrimony over really what seems significant to them. So when I was a college student, if somebody had said, hey, is $10,000 a lot of money? Of course, and $10,000 is a lot of money, but in their overall decision-making, if I can make $10,000 and I'm gonna go over to this university just because it's $10,000 and I'm not thinking about the impact my 4 years and my development has on me, and I'm making a $10,000 decision and I'm not thinking through those other things, that's where the harm is coming. That's where the damage is coming. For 99% of the NCAA athletes, it was working great. And so now it's kind of gotten turned over because of 1% that were professionals. So I think, hopefully that, I don't know how they fix that.
Last question, anyone?
Yes, sir.
In your keyboard building, have you had any calls from Frankfurt or Washington, D.C.?
It's funny you should say that. I am trying to explain the need for these simple concepts: honesty, hard work, discipline. So I'm tracking on that. I want you to know that.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you, Coach. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Lexington, we have a custom lithograph from our very own Bill Strauss. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Matthew Mitchell. We are adjourned.